Hi there, Kevin Bullock CPA, and for this sample video I need to give a brief disclaimer. I think this is more about my presentation style and things like that as opposed to my technical abilities right now. I'm kind of doing this on the fly. I'll get to know this program and look to incorporate some better quality video enhancements like slides and things like that. So we'll look at that in the future, but right now I think this is more about my presentation and things like that. So that's the focus of this this little thing. Okay, all right, ready? Action. Yeah. Hi, Kevin Bullock CPA here, and I've been asked to answer the question, what is the difference between a debit and a credit? The simple answer is, in terms of T accounts, the debit is on the left-hand column and the credits are on the right. That's pretty much it, debits and credits. Now, one thing to keep in mind, debits and credits must always equal. If you have $20 in debits, we've got $20 in credits. $3,287 of debits, $3,287 of credits. Okay, that's just how it goes. For every debit, there's a credit. That would be a great accounting movie trailer, right? I don't know. So, I've abbreviated debit and credit. DR and CR, those are how you debit or how you abbreviate those. So now credits, this is a very important tip. As you see, I put parentheses around the credits, and the reason is that was a tip I got from my father's CPA 30 years ago. Credits are always negative. Okay, that has saved me literally hundreds of hours in terms of account analysis and just trying to straighten things out when I'm working on people's books, things like that. So that is something that's really important to keep in mind. Credits are always negative. Debits are always positive. You do that, life will go well with you. Okay, so in terms of the debits and the credit balances, how do you know what kind of balance an account should have? Well, it kind of depends on what kind of account it is. Okay, very basically, cash is an asset, right? So an asset will have a debit balance by default. Okay, so if you've increased cash, you have debited your cash account. Now, again, remember the game, for every debit there's a credit. So corresponding entries have to balance out. So if you increase your cash by 20 bucks, let me try that again. If you debit your cash by 20 bucks, you have to credit something 20 bucks, right? So if you're selling, let's say you sell something for $20, the debit goes to cash, the credit goes to revenue or income, okay, because you earned that money and you put it in your account. Now again, let's say you earn the money, but the person doesn't have the money to pay you, so you put it on your accounts receivable. Then you debit your accounts receivable, you credit your revenue, right? And then when the person pays you, you credit the accounts receivable, which brings the accounts receivable to zero, and you debit cash because you got the cash. Okay, accounting is really all about story problems. That's what we do. We report the story problems. That's what happens, right? We take a loan out, okay? The business takes a loan out, okay? We increase liabilities, okay? And as you can see, I put the pluses and minuses where the accounts get increased. So if you take a loan out, you get the cash, so you increase your cash and you increase your liability, and the debits and credits equal out, okay? So I'm certain we'll have lots of time to talk about that later. Okay, so if you're ever confused about, well, do I debit this or do I credit this? My tip is to just trace it all back to cash. It's all about the cash. Okay, if you're eventually going to receive cash, then wherever the debit goes is where it eventually would go to cash. So eventually you'll get the cash, so it would be a debit. So let's say, as my example with accounts receivable, you credit accounts receivable has a debit balance by nature. Okay, so you take out the loan. Eventually, you're going to have to pay that back. So you're crediting the liability because eventually you're going to have to credit the cash to offset the liability that you pay off. Okay, so and again, don't forget Credits are always negative, and we will talk about account reconciliations and things like that, I'm certain. So anyway, that is the short answer with a few tips about the difference between a debit and a credit. So I'm really looking forward on taking this journey with you, because I'll share just something quickly on a personal note. One of the reasons that I love being an accountant, first of all, I love numbers, but you know what, honestly, I love people. And the intrinsic benefit that we have on the lives of the people around us is one of those things that when I started to get into accounting, I had no idea the amount of peace that we could bring to people. Knowing that their books are straight, you know, knowing that they're, we can identify things when we get really good at analyticals and analyzing their books after we've done their books correctly. We can help them increase their profits. We can help them sleep better at night. I mean, there are so many ways that we improve the lives of the people around us. And honestly, that is what fuels my fire in terms of being an accountant and being a CPA. Back when I was a bookkeeper, back when I started to get into public accounting, and I'm certain we'll have so many discussions about the accounting path, you know, because there's a million things you can do with it. Not everybody will get their CPA license, I know that, but in terms of the skills that you can develop as you're doing people's books, as you're working on, you know, you may be working for one employer, or you may be working for 20 clients or 30 or 50 clients, whatever. But you can make the world around you a much better place by the skills and the talents that you're going to develop by taking and learning more about accounting. So I'm really excited about helping you with that. I really look forward to these discussions. I think it's going to be cool. So anyway, thank you for your time today. Once again, this is Kevin Bullock, CPA, and I hope that I taught you the difference between a debit and a credit.